Touching. There are several degrees of touching in the cultures, and we can notice certain kinds of touching during the social interaction. The touching is the event of something coming in contact with the body. So if we hear, "He longed his hand for touch her," then we think of sexual bands when we think of touching. But there are several actions considered like touching, and they have different meanings. For example, in the United States, men walk around holding each other. It's seen as a strong indication of homosexuality. But in other countries and cultures, the same-sex hand-holding or arms around the waist or shoulder indicates only solidarity. So, touching generally can indicate sexual bonds, but sometimes it's just a sign of other types of bonding like friendship, solidarity, superiority, or respect. But what is the human bonding? This is the process of development of a close interpersonal relationship. It must commonly take place between family members or friends, but can also develop among groups, such as sporting teams, and whenever people spend time together. Touching is referred to as a tactile or haptic communication. Touching is a basic biological communication, even almost essential to life itself. The touching is a personal and powerful means of communication. Touching is a primitive way of relating to others. It gives encouragement and shows emotional support. Often, the pat on the shoulder for a friend can be one of the most comforting communication messages one can receive. But what is the haptic communication? It refers to the ways in which people and other animals communicate and interact by the sound of touch, as well as providing information about surface and texture. Touch, or the haptic sense, is a component of communication in interpersonal relationships that is not verbal and not visual. Categories that describe variations in touch have been listed as functional professional, social polite, friendship warmth, love intimacy, and sexual arousal. Functional professional touch is an insympathetic, impersonal cold or business-like touch. These are doctors touching during a physical examination or an athletic trainer's touch of a injured athlete. A tailor who takes customers' measurements is a professional touching. Social polite touch acknowledges another person according to the norms or rules of a society. In our society, the handshake is the most predominant form of touching used as a greeting and recognition of another. In many European countries, a kiss is used in the place of the handshake to acknowledge another. Friendship warm touch expresses an appreciation of the special attribute of others. Friendship warm touch is also the most misinterpreted type of touching behavior because it can be mixed or confused with touching related to sex. For example, you see two men in airport hug and walk off with their arms around each other. Are they relatives, partners, close friends, or perhaps lovers? Similar touching includes a pat on the head, gripping either hands, or a hand on the shoulder. Love intimacy touch usually occurs in romantic relationships between lovers and spouses. It includes caressing, hugging, embracing, kissing, and many other forms of intimate touch. It is highly communicative. Usually the form of touch requires consent between both parts. Also, one person can initiate love intimacy touch, and the other person being touched might not always reciprocate. Intimate touch conveys a strong caring, devout, enamored, and loving interpersonal messages. It also complements and validates verbal messages such as "I love you" or "you are someone special in my life." Intimate touch does not necessarily imply sexual involvement. Sometimes confusion between intimate and sexual touch leads to dissatisfaction in some special relationships. Sexual arousal touch is the most intimate level of personal contact with another. Sexual touch behavior having mutual consent is extremely pleasurable for most people, but without consent it can also produce fear, insecurity, and anxiety. The meaning of touch communication depends on the type of touch, the situation, who is doing the touch, and the cultural background of those involved. Some cultures are more prone to touching behavior than others. Some behaviors can indicate a strong bonding. For example, in United States, when the people do activities like campfires, they are sitting around just talking. They form a road circle. Usually, they play physical games, so they hold each other's hands, and it is a form to display of solidarity. In Colombia, we barely notice certain kinds of touching. One typical is the sting. This touching is listened by the one bumping repeating excuse me, excuse me. For example, when we are going to go out of the one of buses from Millennium to go down in some station and it is are full of people, we pronounce these words while we are making our way through the people to go out before the doors are going to be closed. The touching is like a rule of the cultures and this is assumed for each member of them. The problem is not knowing the touching and their meaning for a language learner is the incorrectly used in something context of social interaction. That this way the words of a speech can lose all sense if the speaker doesn't complement the message with a sign of touching. In our case, the kind of touching selected by the speaker can be considered as a physical abuse or change the sense of the message for do a wrong action in some specific context. For example, when you want to give encouragement to someone and you pull him friendly, maybe other people can perceive it wrong because it could be associated with physical abuse. Then, the touching in the communication is important because it's an element of the nonverbal language and for that this provides to achieve an efficient and complement communication. Like this way the touching helps us to reinforce the message of our words with the physical manifestation of emotions and feeling through action and gestures. For example, to do more friendly greeting, we can have a handshaking. We hug if we see someone after much time or put our hand on the shoulder of someone to express confidence or support. The touching is a part of one concept from the topic oral input. We can relate with the using visual and our environmental clues because it talks about the importance of the visual information, specifically the information from the body language like gestures and movements. Also, we can consider the touching as an element to learn through visual and communicative learning process developed with conversation in a specific cultural context. The touching is a part of the nonverbal language that depends on the culture and helps us to improve our communicative process, giving more meaning to our message through gestures and movements because the information not come only from the words.